Hi guys, Tiffany here, and welcome to my quilting life. We are on part 5 now of piecing the Bargello top together. But before I get to anything, for people that are new, hit the subscribe button, like my videos, and hit that little ding-a-ling bell that's down here, right there, so that you can get a notification when I'm on. And 90% of my videos right now are all live, which is fine. It's working for me. What works for me will just work, period, because this is how I do it. So anyways, so yeah, so thank you for joining me. We are on, again, part 5. This is video 5, and I will write down all the cutting numbers. We are still working on the top section now of our Bargello quilt top, and well, I figure we'll just get right to it. So the first section, let me pick it up and bring it over here. So these are the panels before cutting. This is what it looks like before it's cut up. There's 2 of these, and there's 4 per top panel, and they're selvage to selvage, but cut, they're in half. They were sewn in half to keep them from bowing, is why. And they lay flatter that way, for me at least. So here is what this is the first section of it. So I'll stand back so you can see. I've already posted this first section to my Instagram and my personal Facebook, but it's on my Instagram, so if you want to go to the link down below, you can go over to my Instagram and look at a clear picture of it. So I am just going to lay this back down here, because I have to work from it, so that I can see it nice and clearly. Okay, so we are now on this next part. So again, we are using a weight and a 6 by 24 inch ruler to cut these, and I'm using my big mat. But if you have a small one, you can go ahead. Let me just turn this camera so you guys can see. If you have a smaller mat, we're going to get to these so I can write down these numbers for you guys as well. Put it back some. Alright, so if you have a smaller mat, once it's flattened out, just bring it down to you. So if you have a smaller mat to work with, you can just as well do all your cuts this way. But make sure when you're cutting them open like this, which helps because of the whole seams, this fold right here, you want at the top. You want to cut it with these to the bottom. It helps you keep them in order nicely, you know. So I'm going to move this other section out of the way in a second. I'm going to lay this nicely. And first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have 18¼ inches of available cutting space. And I'm positive I do on this. Yes, I have 21 inches. And on this other section, I'm going to make sure that I have 20¼ inches of free cutting space. And I do. So I have plenty of cutting space available on these. So let me grab these little pieces of paper, because we are working on piece 3. I'm hoping you guys can see these numbers, but you can also hear me say them. So we ended with a 1½ inch piece, and we are still working our way up in numbers. So cut number 21, and I'll hold this up in a second, is 1.75. Let me see if this other marker is even better. And then 22 is 2 inches. And remember, I write my numbers. 7.5 means 3/4. 0 means 2 inches even. 1.25 means 1¼ inches. 1.5 is 1½ inches. Just letting you guys know that's how I write my numbers, for those of you that are new watching my video. Alright, so number 23 will be 2.25. 24 is 2.50. Number 25 is 2.25. 26 is 2.0. And I'm sorry if my writing is sloppy, but I will put the numbers in the description down below, after the video is uploaded, which I went ahead and already did on video number 4. All right, 27 is 1 3/4. 28 is 1 1/2. 29 is 1 1/4. And 30 is that dreaded 1-incher. All right, so again, this is for part 3, section 3 of the first 4 panels. This is the 3rd one. So let me hold this up here for you guys. So if you need to screenshot it, you can. I'm hoping that you can see that. Those are the numbers. And again, I will put them in the description with a slight, you know, telling you how to do it, I guess. All right, so let's get these cut real quick. And we're going to start by cutting our selvage off, but I'm going to line it up right here nicely, making sure that I'm getting all of the selvages off. Lining up this down here on a line on the mat. And we're going to make sure I'm getting every single selvage off of here, which looks like I am. Even the underneath ones, yep. So I'm going to go ahead and place my weight on there and grab my rotary cutter. And again, if I leave my rotary cutter open, for those of you who don't know, I leave mine open, but I place it to the side of me, and I always keep my handle facing me so that I'm not grabbing right here on my blade. So I usually leave it open, and I cut left and right-handed. So those of you who are left-handed, you can go ahead and use the measurements on your mat if you need to. And just remember that these seams, you need a nice fresh blade to get all these seams. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that up there in my pile of scrappy mess. And I'm going to start with my first cut, which I'll bring them next to me so I can actually see better. Okay. All right. So if anybody's out there, you can go ahead and say hello. I can't see if anybody's watching because I'm not near. I can't see the other screen, unfortunately. But if you guys want to chit chat, I'm here. All right. So our first cut is 1 3/4. And it missed the seam right there. See what I mean about needing to be able to go through these seams? The rest of it got. And I'm just going to slide it over slightly. And then I'm going to do a 2-incher. So I'm going to line it up on my 2-inch mark. Put my weight up here to hold it down so it keeps it nice and steady. Because I have been known to accidentally move my ruler while cutting. It's happened to me quite a few times. Going to slide that over, and I'm going to go ahead and go 2 1/4. I'm just sliding them over. The next one is 2 1/2. So I'm lining it up with the lines on my ruler. All right, and now back down to 2 1/4. Now 2 inches again. I'll just make sure it's nice and lined up all the way. obviously when I accidentally pull it, I go ahead and readjust it on the line on the mat. So now we're at, that was a 2-inch, right? Yep. So now we're doing 1 3/4. Line it up nicely, put the weight there. 1 3/4. And 1 1/2. And then 1 1/4. And I'm super exhausted. This has been an all-day thing, plus the kids, so they just went home, and I'm out here doing this already. And the last one is 1 inch. So I'm going to line this up nicely on a line, because 1 inch is really hard to cut. So I'm going to put it on a line, and I'm going to use the ruler as my measurement to get that really good 1 inch cut. And this is the last 1 inch cut, besides when we put the bottom together. So there's no more 1 inch cuts from here on out. So this will be the last tiny little cut. And you get this really good leftover piece, which I'm just going to put aside in that other leftover piece pile. I'm going to slide all these over, and we're going to do my little handy dandy trick by sliding these under and taking them to the machine, but I am not going to sew them yet. I'm just going to get the other ones cut and ready to go. So I slide it under here, and I'm going to take this over to the machine, and I'll be right back. Because we're going to get the other ones cut. So I'm just going to lay them right here at the machine. And I'm going to stagger them onto themselves before I come back over there, so that I have plenty of space over here to start sewing when I do start. It just takes me a second to do this. Okay, so those are ready. Bring my ruler back, and now we are going to cut section 4. So I'm going to bring that over here, make it nice and flat. I'm keeping the part that we sealed off the oh my god, I can't even think of the word. The tube is closest to me, and the selvage shall be now on my right hand side. The last strip of selvage was on my left. That's how we know we sewed everything together correctly. And I'm going to line all these up and make sure every single one of these ends comes right here to the end, which looks like it. Yep, exactly where I want it. And now we're going to write number 4's numbers down. Remember, this one we need 20 1/4 inches, so I definitely have 20 1/4 inches available. Alright, so here's the numbers for the 4th panel. For the top row, we have 1.25, 1 1/2 inch, 1 3/4 inch, 2 inch, 2.25, so 2 1/4. My marker is finally going dead. Grab me another one and hope that it works. And then we have 2.5, and then 2 3/4, and 3 inches, and 3 1/4. And both of these marker Sharpies are now pretty much dead. That's not my fault, guys. Again, I will put these numbers in. Making sure it's just a little bit brighter for you guys to see. Alright, so I'm going to circle this at the bottom so you know that this is the 4th set of numbers. So if you want to screenshot it, you can. That's up to you. And I'm going to leave it right next to me so I know what my cuts are going to be. And I am going to line this up right here and start my cutting. So I'm going to put my weight up here. I'm going to look at the other screen. There's 4 of you guys watching. Hello! Where is everybody? You guys just watching, laying in bed, hanging out with me? Lay that string up there. Okay, so we're going to cut 1 1/4 as our first cut. Keep hitting my little iron right next to me. Put my thing up there. Huh. Okay. So that first one was 1 1/4. Slide it over. Now 1 1/2. Using the lines on my ruler. Some of these seams didn't want to cut through. Okay. Sliding it over. Now 1 3/4. Now 2 inches. So now I'm just pretty much going up all the way until I get to 3 1/4, which would be my last cut. So I'm at the 2 inch now. And again, if you need to, you know, those of you who need to, you could put number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth on your pieces. Take a little sticky note and hook on a number so you know you don't lose them. So this one is now 2 1/4. Now 2 1/2. Oops. Now 2 3/4. and 3. And the last cut should make it 3 1/4. Lay it back down on this line just right. So 3 1/4 is the last cut, and there's barely anything left. Like I said, this is almost no waste. I tried to make sure I got every last bit of everything I possibly could when I did these measurements, and utilizing every piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and stack these over here like so. And then I'm going to bring my chart over to the sewing area. And I'm going to pin the piece that I'm looking at up on my board, so I'll be right around over here, guys, in 2 seconds. All right. So I want to be able to look at this quickly, so I'm just going to pin it right here next to me. Today was laundry day, so don't mind all the laundry stuff. Today is laundry day. I'm going to grab 2 pins and hook this right here so I can see it while I'm working. Because I'm just going to make this section from this section. So alright, so I am on 21, and 21 is 1 down, so I start tapering down. So I'm going to come over to this over here and look at it, 1 down, come all the way to the bottom to see which one it comes apart at real quick, and go from there. Alright, so it comes apart right here. Oh, I forgot my phone. Just in case anybody, that 4 viewers that I saw on the big screen want to chit chat, give me a second and I'll grab that. Right there. Finish tearing this one up, and I'll start working from this one now that I know exactly where this one sits. So it's going this way. Alright, so now I can go to the next one, which I'm still going down all the way until I get to piece 30. So I'm going to lay this right here. And this is the one that's coming apart right here. And remember, these seams are pressed just right, so they should nest right into each other. Like earlier, they just lay right perfectly smack dab on each other. As long as you have that 1/4 of an inch really nicely. It's weird that none of you are talking, unless somehow the chat is off, which it shouldn't be because it says live chat on this screen. But I'm going to look because I know that some of you do talk to me. So I'm going to turn you around for a second because I'm curious. Top chat. What? I know what's going on here. Let me turn this back around. Hopefully you guys could get good direction right there. Still see my face. Okay. I think I know what's going on because I got this screen on separately. I am going to close this one out and see what's happening because I see comments. All right, here we go. This whole entire time I'm talking. All right. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Vicky. All right, so I am in a lot of pain because I've been doing a lot of work today. So my bottom hurts from sitting a lot. All right, so. All right, Vicky, you're still working on the quilt. Last community quilt. Later, we go. Hello, Tracy. I didn't even see. I knew it. I had to refresh the whole. I canceled out of my own video and came back to it. So now I can see. All right, guys. So I was talking to nothing. All right. So now I can see comments, guys. I don't know why this screen did not reset itself. That was kind of weird. Because I know that you guys, whoever watches, comments. I'm like, hey, where is everybody? Thought that was kind of weird. All right, so I'm going to put these right sides together. I'm going to come all the way up to this side. And remember, this side folds, so we want to make sure we just lift that up because that was in that last seam. I'm going to nest these two, even though they lay perfectly on each other. And I'm going to be out of bobbin within this section. I know it, but I'm going to use it up instead of putting something new. Backstitch. And just start going until I see that I'm out of bobbin. So if it looks like I'm looking underneath a lot, that's because I'm trying to get close to the end without running completely out. I'm literally just laying these on top of each other, sewing this 1/4 inch seam. Maybe it's not as empty as it looks. It looks empty, but you don't realize how much thread you're actually using and how much you're not actually using. It's kind of weird. Once you start free motion quilting, then you know you're using a lot of thread. Because I use a lot when I free motion quilt. Alright, and what I'm going to just do is a little bit with my fingers. I'm not going to really press it. Again, I'm going to do the same thing I was doing earlier. I really just wanted to come back on and give you guys the directions, and then I have to show you the order that they lay when you start laying them out. So right now we're tapering back down until a certain number 30. And then we start going back a different direction. So right now I'm on piece 21 and 22 here. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So when I get to the top of this one, I will start going a different way again. So for now, every single one of these is going to be tapering back down. So I'm just grabbing from the furthest side, which is my left, finding my piece. I usually just find the red one, honestly, which is my pop color, and then I just go down to find the next section that's being ripped out, which would be this one. And if you did a tight stitch, they shouldn't be coming out too bad, but they should allow you to still get into that with a seam ripper to unstitch it. So the only thing about making a Bargello is you definitely need to, because any other way you're just putting a lot of pieces together. Unless you're doing one like out of 5-inch squares and you're just aligning it, that's technically a Bargello. You guys didn't know. Alright, so right sides together. Bring it all the way back to the top. So it's 10:51 here my time. What time is it where you guys all live? On a Thursday night. Is it already Friday morning, everyone? Alrighty. A little bit of a back stitch. And all these seams should just nest up along the way. 1:51 a.m. Well, Sandy, that's still not my bedtime. That's when I'm eating my snack. Usually between 1 and 2 a.m. I eat a snack. Oops, the presser plate always wants to flip a seam. So annoying. Your bedtime either. Yeah. I'm an insomniac, but when I do sleep though, I'm still a night owl. If I do, like when I do attempt to go to bed, it's usually between 2 and 4 in the morning. Those are the best times for me to fall asleep, is right before the sun starts coming up. Is my best way to fall asleep. But if I see sunlight of any kind, then it usually doesn't happen at all. Then there's no sleep. Oh, did I just like do that again? Alright, bobbin time. Look at that. Gotta go back up quite a bit. It's already time to roll bobbins. This whole project I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bobbins so far. This is number 8. I rolled them before I started. So I guess you don't realize it until you're using them all. Eating Whoppers, smoking cigarettes, and drinking coffee. Great combo. Minus the coffee part. And the Whoppers. I don't think I would eat Whoppers. I don't think I liked them the last time I ate them. Not much. I like Three Musketeers and Snickers and I don't like peanut butter stuff. Anything peanut butter, I don't like. I like Twix. I really like Twix. But Whoppers and stuff like that, the stuff you would get on Halloween or Easter, either too sweet or I don't like malt balls. Things like that. Notice I sewed all that without even noticing I ran out of bobbin. It's so hard to pay attention. That's funny. Alright, so I'm just going to palm finger press using the pad of my finger just to pull down this to the right. Remember, everything on this top panel, these top sections, is all being pressed to the right. When we start on the bottom, that's when everything goes to the left. And the bottom is actually going to be quite simple. I might be able to just leave you guys to all the cutting part on your own, because the cutting is the same exact cuts as the top, which makes it so much easier. Yep, I sew with no bobbin quite often. And it's weird that I don't realize it either. It's like you don't see what's behind this. Like if they made a machine that was smaller and you can actually see around it, you know, because right now you're just looking at this. If you can actually see around it better, you wouldn't be sewing with no bobbin. All right, that one's coming apart. And I'm going all the way down till 30. It's a long way down. but that's okay. It's gonna look awesome. So I'll stick with you guys for sewing all this together, and then I'll sew the top 2 sections together, since now there's 2 sections instead of 4 technically, because I just went ahead and kept sewing because of that 1-inch piece, which I'll probably do with this section too. Just keep sewing because of that 1-inch piece. It screws with me because it's so small. Oh, did they? Oh well, it's okay. I don't mind just hanging out with you, Sandy. Alright, here we go. So the only thing that's going to be different with the bottom section, the cuts are the same, but the piecing order is different than the top section. It's slightly different. They land in different spots. It's what's going to create the secondary design in the Bargello itself. We can talk about anything. Whatever you want. You got to think of the subject though, because I can't think of anything when I'm sewing. You ask, I can give you the answer. Or you can just start it, and then obviously I can still see it. Oh, I used to hear Tracy, yay! You went silent for a minute. Yeah, just start a conversation. What do you guys want to talk about? We got to drown out the sound of my machine somehow, since I ain't got no radio to play. And if I put in headphones, then it's like, I don't know, I feel like I won't pay attention probably. Yay. And he was going to stop at Joanne's, but he forgot to bring his medicine, so he had to come home, so I didn't get to go. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. Hey, at least you have Joanne's in your vicinity to go. Our Joanne's. Like I said, we don't have one here. We have to go out of town. An hour and a half. So, anytime my daughter goes out of town, though, she likes to go out of town to places, I'm going to start having her stop at Joanne's for me. So, that way she can at least, you know, buy me a yard of something. Just because I asked her nicely. Some kind of clearance, and she can use my coupons. Because I get coupons, I just can't use them because it's a long drive to go there. Alright, so I'm still tapering down, by the way, if you were wondering what I'm doing here. So I'm on the next piece. And making sure when I open it up that it's laying where it's supposed to, and then I just pull it right back up. Question. Do any of your machines, let's see if you guys can understand what I'm saying, because I can't show you. Do any of your machines, this, okay, so you all the machines are pretty much the same when you thread them. So when you come down, you go back up and you go over that thing that goes up and down, the little lever thing. When you go over that and then come down, does your top thread wind itself around that? Because mine, if I sew fast on this machine, it always winds around that. If I don't sew fast, then it doesn't wind around that ever, the whole entire time I'm sewing. But that's a lot of the reason for a lot of my thread breakage, is because the thread comes back up, goes around that thing, but instead of going just around it, it ends up wrapping itself around it, like tangles on it somehow. Does any of you guys' machines do that? Out of curiosity? Even though I know yours aren't brothers, most of you. But mine is a brother, but that's what it does. Just curious if any other machine does. Because my Juki sometimes does it. That's only if I'm like going really, really, really on the fast setting and I don't ever take slow breaks. And I just keep going. Do a different color. I never got a Count's pad. I got a chalk pen instead that I could put tons of different colors in. I don't think I've ever showed you up close. This is what I have. Right now there's an orange in it, and then it comes with these, so I can take this out by pushing this, and I could take the chalk out, you know, and put a different color in it. And you just buy the refill packs, and it's made by Dritz. It's a chalk pen. So it works really good. I like it. I've never tried the Count's pad though. I kind of figured it would get everywhere. I do have Taylor chalk though too as well, which I like using that also. Michelle is good. She was, the reason why she hasn't been on the videos is because she's been at a sew-in out of town. So she's trying to get things done and situated. Other than that, she messaged me last night, well, I should say in the middle of the night this morning, so technically last night to us, you know, and told me that she was well and that she will get in touch with me as soon as she's home and situated at home. She's been busy though. Don't go fast no more, so don't do no more. Brothers are bad to do. I have to them, both of them done. No, yeah, I'm not doing brothers no more ever again. And I think I have reiterated that enough in all of my videos. No more brother machines. My husband asked, what am I going to want once this one finally does take a shit, because it's going to take a shit soon. Mind my language, sorry, but it's true. That's what these machines do. They are 100% known for breaking. And I told him this one's on his last leg. So I'll probably have to take a couple side jobs just to afford a different, more better, you like my words, a better machine. Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to get another machine. Yeah, I got that Dritz thing at Joann's with a coupon. It was $7.89, and then the coupon took 10% off of it, so it came up to like $6 something, which wasn't bad. And then the refill packs I think are like $4, which is no big deal, but at least you could refill it. And I'm pretty sure we could probably buy the refills on Amazon or something. Alright, next piece. I'm still just tapering down. So I'm finding my red and I'm still going down. So the next one I'm coming apart is this one. It gets easier the more pieces you attach and take apart. It seems to get easier. Obviously, you guys are following my order, so that's why I'm telling you guys if we're going up and down and what piece number we're going up and down at. So like I said, 30 will be stopping the going down part and start going back up on 31. Only for a couple numbers though, and I can't see that far down there on the floor. But right sides together. Yeah, how was his doctor's appointment today? Alright, little back stitch right here at the beginning. And all these seams are pretty much nesting themselves. I just have to keep these aligned. That's pretty much my thing, is keeping them aligned. Other than that, the seams are, I'm still holding them, but again, for those that want to pin, go ahead and pin, but there is really no need for it. And if you see me lifting it, it's because the presser plate has flopped a piece. It catches it and flips it, so I'm flipping it back the way it goes. Look at that, they just, I'm not even stopping now, I'm just going. As long as the pieces stay aligned. Oops, that one flipped. I don't like it when my seams flip. Kind of annoys me. Yes, he's doing really good. You're playing on his Facebook. I've heard a few people say that they don't like him. Yeah, I don't like him personally, not anymore. The only reason why I did in the beginning is because it's all I had, you know? And now that I have the ability, or have had the ability before, to, instead of spending $250 on this, I could have took the 2 machines that I spent $250 on, because sending it to Brother to fix it under its warranty actually cost more than purchasing the machine in the first place. So it was cheaper to just get another machine, you know, or take it back to Walmart, because the other one that I had of this one broke within a month. So Walmart took it back because it was under its 3-month warranty through Walmart, you know, the return policy. But of all the times I've bought one of these machines, I could have took that 250 times 3 now of this machine and just bought myself like a baby lock or something, you know. All over again. I don't know how to buy off PayPal. Well, don't be alone on that one, Sandy, because I don't know how to use PayPal either. At all. Like, anything that I buy online, it doesn't go through PayPal. I just pay directly through the, like a credit card entering thing, as like a one-time customer or something like that. But I never use PayPal. No need, really. Except for like my Etsy shop, but my Etsy shop hasn't sold anything, so people can buy with their PayPal and then it's transferred into my bank account, because that's what my Etsy shop goes to, is the bank account instead. Makes it easier for me. He's okay with the doctor's an idiot. Isn't all VA doctors? Sorry, I just had to say that one aloud, but everybody that uses the VA knows. I can go to the grocery stores. Those are the only 2 places I know how to use it. Oh, so you're saying you have like a PayPal credit card or something? Like I didn't know they still did that. I could have swore that was something back in the day. That's what you're talking about. I don't know how that works either, but I know that they used to have them. I had a friend that had one. They used to sell on some kind of website. And she had a PayPal credit card. I'm like, where'd you get that from? Yes, nice, but it's super expensive. At least the one I would want. The one I would want does embroidery, and you can free motion quilt on it. All sorts of stuff. I don't remember the number of it. I'd be able to. I'd have to go look again.
So the price, someone donates to me, I use it like a credit card, like a bank card, really, debit card. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I would love to have baby lock, you know, with the bigger neck on it. Yes, I want, my next sit-down machine is going to be bigger than my Juki wrote. I need more than 9 inches to work with. The Juki, I will someday only use that for piecing only. Because that's not going to be on the frame. In a couple years, my goal in a couple years is to have the Juki TL 2200 QVP. It's an 18-inch long arm. That is my goal machine, and or bigger with a bigger frame, but right now I just want something that'll go on the frame I already own. So I don't really think I need to switch up frames since I already have one. It'd be a hassle to try just selling a frame all by itself, you know. Although it does have the tray, so you could put any machine on it. Okay, next piece is tapering down one more, so this is the one being taken apart. We're getting all the way down to that really tiny, tiny, tiny piece soon. Hey, 1 inch is so hard to work with because it turns out to be only a ½ inch that's visible. Yeah, here you can buy a car with the price of a sewing machine. Well, let me tell you. All of our kids' cars were all under $1,000, so we know that you can buy a car with the price of a sewing machine. My husband always tells me, I don't know if he means it for real, but he always tells me, if you want the long arm that you want, and since we can't afford it, he goes, if you want the long arm that you want, why don't you just sell your car then? I'm thinking, but I need my car. But then he has a car, but he has a cheesy car that I hate, and yeah, I'd rather have my car, and I'm not going to sell my car for a machine. Nope, I'll just live with what I have. It's funny to hear him say it, though. Every time I say, when I get frustrated and say I want a new machine. Yes, they are. The one I want is $10,000. That's why he tells me to sell the car. So unfortunately, when I do get one though, it'll be a payments kind of thing. And then it'll be also once I have more clients to quilt for. Because technically, the more clients you have, the more chances you have of paying your machine off sooner. So if you charge 15 cents a square inch, depending on where you live, I only charge 2 cents a square inch, but if you charge 15 cents a square inch to quilt someone's quilt, that's just the general all-around rule, I guess, that they go by. Then it takes 266 quilts, I think was the number, to pay off the machine that I want specifically. That's how many quilts you'd have to quilt and make money off of just to pay for the machine. But obviously, you don't always get that full amount of money because some of it goes towards thread purchasing and machine maintenance and so on and so forth. So technically, it's probably more like 300 quilts would have to be quilted and for customers to make up the money that it takes to buy a $10,000 long arm, you know? So. Well, where were we? I went to a sewing machine dealer and they had one on sale for, yeah, see, they're expensive, those baby locks. Very expensive. That's about the price that the one I want is. If I was to do baby lock, obviously. But it would have everything, all the bells and whistles. Sewing clothes up in a small closet. Yeah, I could live with it long on. I'd love to have one. Then I have now really belongs to Mom and my name, so we could get it legal here, but we wouldn't sell it because it belongs to Mom. Yeah, don't sell it if it belongs to your mom. Alright. See. I'm still pressing everything, palm pressing. And some of these, the smaller they get, I'm using my fingernail just a little bit more to hold it down. Alright, next smallest piece. And then we get to that little 1-incher. Alright, ripping it right here. And then when I go grab those other pieces up there, I'm just going to keep building on this with those other pieces, making it so much easier for me during this video. But you guys can do it in each section like I had planned it, you know, where this is just the section and you hook all 4 sections together. But since these pieces are so small, to me it feels a little bit easier, so it might to you guys as well, to hook something to that 1 inch right away. That way it doesn't fall apart either, because it does take the chance of falling apart. Let's try to sew this on here real quickly like. These littler pieces is so much harder to just keep going down really fast with. It really wants to flip all these seams. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. You'll save up someday. Someday. That's what I say to myself. I'm just saving for now, you know. Someday I will have it. Someday I will have at least the amount that I need for a monthly payment, you know. Because it's like buying a car. It's a monthly payment. But that's when I start having more customers. But I will, in between then, I'm going to have to spend a little bit to get, you know, instead of purchasing all these dumb machines, I'm going to have to spend what I would spend on all these dumb machines and just get something good. Someday, though. Alright. I'm going to add some nail on this one to get this to stay. This is piece number 29, so piece 30 comes one more down. I'm only using my nail to finger press this to the right on these ones because this is such a small piece, it won't stay with the pad of your finger. It's so tiny. When we get to this little 1 inch right here, it is even smaller. So here's my little red, which is going to go right here, so I know I'm taking apart this piece right here with the red. Which only needs like 2 stitches undone, really. Maybe 3, because it'll come right apart, just like that. And now remember, this is the 1 inch piece. This one's really, it's getting smaller, but it's going to start going back up. The next section is all back up, so that's a positive. Still small pieces, though, for a few more pieces. And it's really good to keep that 1/4 of an inch on this, too, because this is such a skinny piece, and you still want it to show. Even though it's only a 1/2 an inch that's showing and visible, you still want it to be nicely there. So this is piece 30. And then it's going to grow from here. Sandy on Facebook? No. She goes if it's tied to hit me, I expected. Grandma throws the glass at me. Pair of scissors. Yikes. Something to do with stubbornness and old ladies. My grandma was pretty crazy when she was at her older age, but she was also senile, and she was also Alzheimer's and dementia kicked in, and yeah, then she really got crazy. It was really hard to take care of her. I'm getting into it. I put one video up, the one I got in the mail today. So your mom has both? And you have a Facebook now, Sandy? Okay, so I'm going to grab those other pieces now. I'm going to bring them over here with my handy dandy ruler. I'm going to slide them under and bring them over here. I'll be right back. They're already laying on top of each other, so it's going to be really easy to start. So I'm just going to lay it up right here. They're already staggered on top of each other, but obviously I need to stagger them the opposite way, because technically I'm starting from this end, but that's okay. I'll just grab them. Okay, I need to grab my chart so I can see. So piece 30 was down, so now I go all the way up until I get to 35. I'm just going to lay that right there. So now I'm going to go back up, just like so. So I'm going to come apart right here at this one, and I'm just going to count over 5, so piece 35. We'll start going the other way again. So remember, we're sewing this now to the 1-inch piece. So it's still a small piece. It's 1 1/4 hooking to a 1-inch, but it should still line up really nicely. I'm going to put a anchor stitch in it real quick to hold this, because it's really hard to adjust this little dinky thing right here. It's not too hard. A beginner can do this, let me tell you. I'm just trying to align my seams real quick because it's so small. Alright, now I can align them nicely. Aha! Just float down it. Trying to keep it open so that I don't sew it closed either. That's the only thing about sewing this one. Yes, it's one of the other, I'm not sure about this one. Something's going on with her brain. She does stupid things. Maybe either one of those is hard to live with. Yes, I know it's hard to live with, because I took care of my grandma. It was horrible dealing with her. She was a wonderful woman when she was clear-minded, but that wasn't very often in the end. At all. Nobody in the family could control her, like, at all. she loved me to death, and those kids is what kept her alive as long as she was. Because my kids were in her life from the day they were born. She came and watched them all be born at the hospital. And she actually wasn't my grandma. She was actually my great-grandma. My family had 5 generations going until she died. But her kids were older, so it was easier for me to care for her because they were already older. So that's why I cared for her, because I was younger and had the ability to. Plus I lived close. I lived in the same town as her, which was easier. Going to get some cake and milk. Ooh, yummy. I know my husband, I thought he was going to the store today, but it's on the list, so he goes to the store tomorrow. He's going to get me some pineapple and some cherries, because I'm putting cherries in mine. Alright. This is going to be hard to see, but soon I will press this, but we're going up again, so it goes up this way. So I'm unhooking these two. Smells like somebody has their fireplace going. I cannot stand the smell of some of the woods that people burn in their wood stoves. Oof. Of course, I think it's a MS thing, and I've talked to Michelle about it. Can't stand any smell. It all affects me. Smells make me want to gag. Or I start choking. It's not my fault, though. Especially colognes and perfumes. Ooh-wee. I can't stand any of them. And some people's deodorants as well. That sucks, Tracy, that it was your mom that had it. Trying to get these 2 seams to lay flat real quick while I start this. I think I'm going to have to give it a quick pressing before I start adding more, because it's really not laying flat at all, making it a little bit more harder to work with. So give me a second to finish this, and then I'm going to give it a quick press so that these lay nice and flat, because it's starting to be really foldy. Alright, I'm going to turn the iron on real quick. And now I'm going to finger press it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allergic to the smell. It's just an MS thing. It affects the back of my throat because I have a swallowing problem. Well, also because it's shallow. That's why I hiccup a lot too, as well, by the way. If you haven't noticed through my videos, I hiccup, and it's like a quick hiccup burp at once, but it's always down in here, and like in the further parts of my chest. But yeah, smells make me just gag, honestly. All right, so I'm going to take this over to the iron real quick. I'll even turn you guys so you can watch. I won't have the, I'm not going to take the, whatchamacallit with me. I'll just show you guys real quick. So if you need to say something, I'll catch up to it in a minute. Let me just turn this around and press everything really quickly like. Ooh, ooh, that smells. So I'm just making sure everything is pressing up, which would be, when it's flipped, it's all to the right. I almost said left. I'm kind of just rolling them back from the top, which helps. Most of them are rolled, so I could start going further, because the bigger pieces stayed pretty flat. Okay, so these are so tiny, I'm just going to roll it that way. Making sure that at least these seams right here all roll. Once it starts rolling to the proper way, then the rest should follow. Okay, let's bring it back over here. Lay it the correct way with the red closest to me. Turn the camera back the way it goes. I was looking while it was on there. 4 people watching. All right. Let's finish this up. Yeah, it hurts my throat, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, it hurts my throat to constantly have that. And then I belch a lot too, but most of the time I belch from down here. A lot of the times I can make it come out of my mouth, obviously, but it's kind of a loud, obnoxious sound that I make. And most of the time it's just acid coming up is all it is, because I have GERD. Gastrointestinal reflux disease. So it's just part of MS. It developed from the throat problem and just got worse over time. The one that sucks is when I have an allergic reaction to something and my throat swells up completely and then I can't breathe or anything. That really sucks when that happens. It's happened quite a few times. I've been hospitalized for allergic reactions. Okay, let's nest these up nicely. Put in that anchor stitch with back stitching. Lie down the side. Again, these should just nest right up and go. It's those smaller pieces that we really have to pay attention to. The rest of them, they go pretty darn quick. Well, if you sew pretty quick, like I do. At least I'm trying to. I'm pretty sure we could knock like 2 hours off of this whole entire project if I would have been using the other machine, and knock another hour off just because I talked throughout the whole thing. So technically this doesn't take as long. I would have been able to have it done in one day if my internet didn't stop working that first day. just going to finger press this one open with the palm of my finger because the pieces are getting bigger, and I'll press when it's completely finished. Again, everything's being pressed to the right. I'm seeing what piece number I'm on. So here's 30, which was all the way down. So 31, so 35, so 31, 32, 33. So 2 more. So this would be 34. Goes up. So I take it apart right here. My big light turned off, so it's not as bright for me to see these stitches. I used white thread on everything. I typically always use white thread. Here's one for you. What color thread do you use when piecing? The only time I use any dark colors is if my palette has a lot of black in it. Then I use black thread. What color thread do you typically use? This one's probably, depending on how it turns out, it's probably going to go in my Etsy shop. I haven't actually renewed anything in my Etsy shop. My husband says wait until I get some of these quilts done, and then I'll repost, because I've already, a lot of my posts expired, so you can't even see half the stuff that I had there like 3 months ago. They've expired, so as soon as I get a chance, I'll add more quilts again and relist everything. But I'm waiting until I have more quilts to add, which should be soon. As soon as I start working over there on that side. I had to do this project first though and get it done. Other than that, I'll work on, I think during the rest of this winter, my kind of goal is, first I got to finish my customer quilt. But any other pattern or anything that I come up with or make, I think is going to be a once a week tutorial. And the rest of everything will be free motion quilting on the frame for now, which will be most of my videos, and or piecing stuff in the middle of the night, which is random projects, you know, because I have a lot of unfinished projects as well that I got to get put together. Like, remember I started piecing all the pieces that were left over for the orange and blue square quilt? Well, that one, all those little leftover pieces I started making quarter square triangles with, and I just haven't finished. They're just sitting in a tub over there on the table. All the quilts though that are going to someone for Christmas or anything, those are all in the top of the stack of things to do. So they're my priority quilts. So 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next one is the last one up. 35 is up. So one more up, and then I start going back down. Yeah, white goes with everything. That's why I use white the most. The only time it really shows through is if I use a bigger stitch length and I'm using black pieces with white pieces. Like on my diamond quilt, I used white thread throughout that whole thing, but there's a lot of black in it. So anywhere a seam had to be trimmed down or something, the white was starting to show through, so I had to go over and stitch re-stitch a bunch of those pieces. So it starts going down, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces left. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right. Okay, so this is the last one up. So 35 is the last one that is going in the upward direction, piece 35. So I've taken the part right here, and then I'm going to go right back down again with the last few pieces. And then we're going to hook the two together and be done with the top. We still have to cut up and sew the bottom. But the bottom is the same cuts, like I said a little bit ago. That's the same size cuts. They're just oriented just a bit differently when we start sewing them on. Well, they're not oriented. The up and downness goes different. It's the only thing that's different. I advertise on my personal Facebook and on my thing, but I can't post it in groups. You're not allowed to post quilt sales in any of the groups, so I can't advertise it there. It's pretty much my YouTube videos takes people over to the page with the link below, and it needs to be, honestly, my page needs to be advertised to not quilters, but people who want quilts for their beds, you know, but know a quilter and know how much it costs to make a quilt, you know. And I don't even charge as much as a lot of those quilts that are on there. I charge with what I've spent time-wise and fabric-wise into my quilts. And it says that on my page. But it needs to be advertised in places that quilters wouldn't normally go, which is, I've put it on a couple places, but, and a couple of my friends and family have shared it. And I've had people buy quilts, but not from my Etsy shop yet. They've seen one there and then they buy it from me separately because they're local. That's the only reason. Other than that, they haven't purchased from that shop itself. What do I think about all them people coming from Mexico over here? I don't know, because I don't have the news. So I don't know. I didn't know a bunch of people are coming over from Guatemala. Guess I'm not updated on the news, guys. I try not to watch news because it's all political and whatever, and or it's, you know, rape, murder, and mass suicide or something. You know, I don't know. News to me is depressing. Well, all right. So now we're going back down the rest of the way. So this is gonna go down. So I'm taking it apart right here. The rest of the pieces will go back down. So I'm gonna, when I get these together all the way, that way anybody that's following along, but right before I get off, I'll tell you guys the order, you know, that they go up to and then down to by number for the design. But some of you, if you guys are just doing your own thing and you're using this as a template guide of how to do it, then you could do your own thing if you want. But the 3 pop colors, the reason why I added those is you'll see, you've seen it already, is just because the directional of the way this is being created. Why are they coming over here? Is there a reason for it? Because they want to be in land of the free and home of the brave, or what? I mean, I don't get it. Did they find out about some jobs that are opening throughout the country that we don't know about? Some of them are trying to escape from bad stuff happening. The news is very depressing. Yes, it is very depressing. Leaving one bad government and coming over for another one because we're not really, well, yeah. You know, I always believe that if I stay out of it and I just do my own thing, it really doesn't affect me. The only thing that affects me personally with our government is insurance. Insurance problems, that affects me and affects my life. Because I get horrible, horrible medical. My machine decided to take a snip at it. Three more pieces to sew and then sewing it to the big one after pressing. And I'm going to put these down here because they're like totally in my way now. Yep, I know this. I've known this for years. But what do they expect people that, you know, have worked all their life and put money into Social Security to do? So dumb. So dumb. They think that 401ks are going to pay for a retirement plan, which they don't. Because most people blow it right away, and I know this because a family member did it. They retired, took their 401k, and spent it all in like 5 weeks. So dumb. It's supposed to be a retirement plan, really. Social Security is pretty much a retirement plan as well. And it's supposed to be there for people like me who cannot work real jobs. Trust me, I've worked real jobs, and I call in sick every day. So I get fired. So that's why I work my own job, my own hours. They work for it. That's right. They work for it. Yeah, it probably won't happen until our grandkids have grandkids of their own. That's when something like that is going to happen. Because they've been saying that kind of stuff for years. The government's always not wanting to have Social Security. So my seam just got a little tiny, so I'm pulling back just a little, coming up here, and making it a 1/4 inch. Sometimes that happens, it's getting stuck up here and hitting stuff. So it's stopping me from having to hold it just right. Answer what? Okay, I'm lost now. You guys know you lose me easily. I thought we were talking about Social Security and people losing benefits and whatever else they get, because that's retirement for people. Alright, taking this one apart. Oh my god, come on, get in the hole. Get in the hole. What is Social Security one of the people supposed to do? Yeah. It's gone. Nobody will have anything. And there's not even jobs for people that are retired, really. Not everybody could work at Walmart, you know. Because I know that people come back from retirement to go work at Walmart because they've spent all their retirement. It's like a big cycle. Alright. After this is one more piece. So this makes 2 pieces left. Yeah, you think? You think the president could take a pay cut? The president gets like $268,000 or $468,000 a year just to be in office. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is a lot, you know? To do what? Sit around? I mean, you get a house to live in and everything. All your meals are paid for. I mean, unless you want McDonald's, but what president actually goes and eats McDonald's? You know? But I think, like, Secretary of State actually gets paid more than the president. I Googled it one time, my husband and I, and we looked it up to see who gets paid the most. The vice president gets the least amount of money. But the government treasurer and all that, they make a lot of money. I mean, it's not like the job is technically not really 24/7. They do get time to sleep. Those other people take care of things when it's sleep time. And there we have this. It's hitting this thing and it's causing me to lose my 1/4 of an inch. I gotta hold it right here. It's not my fault, guys. There we go. I gotta hold this up right here. People that, where are we at? Oh my god, you're going too fast for me. I agree 100% with people. We should also cut some of the people out of the government. It's too big, it's too big. I think the people that take the kids out of the home will be, or to be cut. They don't go out to eat their farm, but animals don't get stressed. And it's not from the... I'm really having to hold this over here. I got one more thing, one more piece to sew. I'm like zooming right through these now, though. So I'm gonna sew that last one on, and then we'll press and then sew the 2 together. All right, let's finger press. Money is fictitious anyway. Ugh. Okay, so last one down, which is just like the first section. It's the second. Red should end at the second one up on this. Well, whatever color you're using as your pop colors. Mine is red, and it should land at the second one from the top. And when we put the bottom together, you'll know why. So this last piece is the 3 1/4 It started with 3 1/4, had a bunch of numbers, and ends with 3 1/4. The bottom will do the same exact thing when we put the bottom sections together. Okay, last one. Technically, it's not the last one because we have to combine 2 pieces, but all right, let's keep this going nice. I have to hold it just right though once it gets up there and starts touching something, so that I don't lose my 1/4 inch seam, because it was starting to. This looks really cool on my screen. Okay, I know I'm getting weird. Let's get this on here. No, the Federal Reserve is not federal. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to finger press this. I'm going to go turn the iron on. And I'm actually kind of just hand pressing. I'm using my hand here, guys. Alright, I'm going to go turn the iron on and I'm going to press this and then we're going to hook the 2 together. Give me a second, guys. Hello? Yeah, I'm on my live. Why? What's up? Yeah, come on. Alright, well then I'll see you in a little bit. Love you too, bye. That was my daughter. She's gonna come over. She just got off of work. Or she's getting off of work. She's closing up the store now. Alright, that iron is going. It's almost ready. I'll turn you guys over towards it, but I won't see the comments momentarily while I press it, so I'm just going to turn you guys to see. And remember, everything, once it comes over here, is being pressed up, which is to the right if you're doing it that way. So my last seam was these little dinky guys. So I'm going to come over to the ones above it. Since they're still small, I'm going to add some steam on these small ones. I'll try not to let my iron get tangled up, because it likes to get caught up on the quilt. Alright guys, so I'm going to get ready to put these 2 together and then I'll show you. How's that sound? I won't even show you, you'll just watch me sew them together and then I'll press that middle seam and then I'll lay it on the design wall, which is technically the design floor temporarily. It's only still on the floor because of my customer's quilt. I'm trying to get all those pieces on it and I need it on the floor to do so. Alright. So I'm going to take this over and we're going to sew those. Oops. I'm going to fix that real quick right there. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to leave this plugged in to press that last center seam. I'm going to bring it over here. We're going to hook these together. So you guys aren't going to see this, but I'm going to put them right sides together and bring it to my table and start sewing. Let me just grab the two pieces though and put them right side together. Alright. Move my drawing now out of the way and turn you guys. Got 4 of you still. Alright. So they're right sides together, so you can't see until I sew these two together. Remember, keeping the red at the bottom, that's how you know. If you flip it and the red is at the top, then you know you're sewing them together wrong, by the way. Or if a big piece is next to this, you don't want the big piece on the side that you're sewing either. That's how you know. You're working with smaller pieces. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Where is it? It's privately owned. It looks pretty. Do you want to know who owns it? It's the Rothschilds. If you've never heard of the Rothschilds, look up, you may not like what you're going to be looking at either. Alright, I'm going to put these together now. It's kind of heavy because there's a lot of pieces right here. And all these I think it's the seams that make it really heavy. So, technically, right now, we're at 1 jelly roll worth. So, alright. So let's lay this on here. Back. Alright. I'm going to nest all these seams now. And then I'll press it and we'll open it up and show you. It's hard keeping these two lined up. Because it's heavy, by the way. No other reason, but because it's kind of heavy. The stupid seams keep hitting the presser plate. Maybe if I lift it kind of, make it easier. I gotta reach in and grab this. It's not letting my fingernails move it. There we go. People have in mind to see if they think they're all free. Not that money is worth something when it's not. And churches in the real price. I know that the government owes the Federal Reserve a lot of money for making money. I know that part. I read that somewhere with my husband a long time ago. And again, this is being pressed to the right, so when I open it, that's the way it's going to be pressed to when I finally open these 2 sections up. So when I take it over to the ironing board is pretty much how I'll do it. I'll fold it open first. There we go. All right, so when I open this up, it's going to be pressed to the right. So I'm going to take this over to the ironing board. There we go. Now you guys can see me, even though you can see all my junk back there. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to give it a little bit of a press first. Some steam to heat it up. I'm going to move this a little so I can lift this up. Fold it down into there so it stays to the right. Alright guys, so I'm going to go lay this on the design floor. Take you over to it. Give me a second and then I can see comments and stuff, okay? Alright guys, let me bring you over to it now. You ready? You ready? You ready? Oh, look at that. So this is the top section. How about it, huh? So I think I'm doing A-okay so far. Yeah. Oh, look at this. This comment thing is way down. Okay. So let me zoom in, or come down here, I should say, so you guys can see these seams. That little one, it looks funky, but they're there. And they're matching. This is no pins. This is 100% so far a no pin project. Just make my way up here. I love the way some of these, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but let me unwiggle. See how these are doing this? It's like they're waving. These fabrics, look at that. Isn't that so neat how that's working out? These fabrics are making it look even better because of the wave in them, you know? I think it's the neatest thing. So what do you guys think of how it's looking so far? Something that you're going to want to do? So those that are new, that watch this later, let me tell you, this is 100% beginner friendly. You don't have to use pins because they line up on their own. And yeah, the cuts are different, and these 1-inch pieces only being a 1/2 inch when they're in here, but there's only 2, so it makes it look a lot easier. I mean, it is a lot easier because I didn't add a bunch. Really big Bargellos aren't big, but oh, I forgot to do this, so I'll do this while you guys are right here. So just because my math is, it's supposed to be like 57 inches, so my math is not always perfect, you know, with this whole seam thing. So this quilt's width will be 59 3/4. Did you guys get that? 59 3/4. I was even way off. It's bigger than I thought. And then it's going to be tall because the bottom section is going to be 1 strip or 2 strips shorter. So the bottom section, 2 strips shorter. So we have 42 plus 38, 42, 52, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. So to be 70, 71, 72, 73. It'd be like 73 inches long. So to be 52, or what did I just say? Oh man. 59 3/4 by 70 something. I just said 72. It'll probably be like 72 3/4 as well. It'll probably be some weird off number. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? I love the way it looks from the side too. Looks super neat. I went right to the right pieces, right? This is the same row. Yep. Okay. I love it. I'm so far pleased with what I thought was going to be making you guys an ugly quilt. I honestly thought I was going to be making you guys an ugly quilt. So that's not my fault that I thought that, obviously. That was just one of my thoughts. So what do you guys think so far? You guys like it? I think it's absolutely awesome so far. And it's probably going to go in my Etsy shop for sure. Because it's definitely worth Etsy shop. Let me grab my phone so I can talk. Yes, I love it too. It looks freaking awesome. So, okay. So the bottom section, I'm going to tell everybody this now, and I don't know how well you can even see this. I don't even know. Can you even see my paper? Oh, look. So the bottom section is the top section, but it's kind of, so it's not the same though. It doesn't actually come together the same way. But all these measurements that I showed you guys, which I'll put 3 and 4s in this video. So measurements from 1 and 2, from the first 2 panels, these 2 measurements are going to be the same on the bottom panels. And then 3 and 4 are also the same on the bottom panels. The only thing different is going to be the orientation of where our pieces sit and how many down and up they go, okay? That'll be different. And then also everything gets pressed to the left. That way when we join the top and bottom together, one whole bottom will be going to the right, the other whole bottom will be going to the left, creating a nesting seam just as simple as the nesting seam. Even though that is a bias edge on that bottom, it'll still nest nicely. It's been pressed. It's going to stay right there. I'm not going to be lifting it, moving it, or anything. It's just going to stay right there on the floor. And tomorrow we'll come back, if this happens tomorrow. I have a lot of things to do actually. Tomorrow I have doctor's appointments like crazy tomorrow actually. So it won't be in the afternoon. Obviously it'll probably be after that when I get back from doctor's appointments. And if not, then it'll happen Saturday. But between tomorrow, I'm not going to promise, but tomorrow hopefully we'll start putting bottom together. But you guys at least know that the cuts are going to be the same as what we just did now through all 4 of those pieces. So if you want to, you can already just go ahead and cut all of those up. And if you need to number them, number them. I'll probably do the same thing. Come back and I'll show everybody, obviously, because I want to show everyone the cuts one more time. But I'll go the whole entire cut thing, and then I'll sew it in quarters like I was supposed to. So probably, or I could just hook it all together. Screw it, I don't know. But let's see what everyone is saying. Like me, if I don't write it down, I forget it. Yeah, I forget everything. I have to write things down. So from this whole project though, this is my leftover, and I think I'm going to mix these with my leftover pop colors. I think I'm going to put them all together somehow and make, I'm going to create a pieced border to make this bigger. So, and it's going to come from all these leftovers most likely. Plus I still have leftovers from the yardage itself. I don't know why I cut more, and I'll have to backtrack on that for everybody in the end. I was only supposed to cut 4 of each color. So I don't know why I cut 8 of each color that day. I was just cutting and I didn't think anything of it, I guess. I don't know. So yeah. that has to be done. And yeah, I'll create that, but that'll be after I look at the quilt. Once it's finished, the quilt top, I'll do that thing where I stare at it for a little while, change my mind 100 times, and then I'll, you know, do it. So, all right. Well, ladies, it has been, let's see, 1 hour and 55 minutes and 58 seconds. All right, so it's about time I get off of here. And if anybody has any questions or comments, put them below on putting this together. I will be happy to answer anything I need to answer. What else? I can't think. Oops. So yeah, anybody that's new, don't forget to like my videos and subscribe to my channel and hit the ding-a-ling button so that you can get notifications. That's down here, right there, that little ding-a-ling button, so you can get notifications. And don't forget to, if you press the little arrow right below the video on this side right here, you guys can see my fingers on it, this side, the arrow pointing down takes you to the description area, which will have all the numbers for everything that we just cut this time, because the first set of numbers is in video 4, so this is video 5. We'll have the second set of numbers in it after I edit it later. Let's see what else. So yeah, you can hit my description, you know, and look below, and you can find my Facebook, Etsy shop, Instagram. Anybody that's following this project, please don't forget to go to your Instagram and post pictures, progress, or even just the finished quilt top, and hashtag it Tiffany's Quilting Life. So it's that hashtag Tiffany's Quilting Life, all one word, no apostrophe on Tiffany's. So, all right, everyone, Vicky and Sandy, because you guys are the only ones I see for now. Good night, you guys, and to the rest of the world who's watching later, for you it's probably morning, but for me it's good night. So I'm Tiffany, and this is my quilting life. Bye. Oh, my goodness. I'll reach over.